when you start with an empty Prosper database, it contains some rows in some tables. Mostly in the kernel tables will be filled. Actually, all the kernel tables would be filled. Some configuration tables would be filled, and also some data tables would be filled. But how to prevent the configurator or the final user to delete some rows that are essential for the work of the kernel, for the work of Prosper. For example, we said that the type table is a configurator table, means the configurator can place in it anything, can define any type. But since the Prosper configuration uses Prosper, so we did a configuration in Prosper to configure Prosper. It's a little bit difficult to understand, but the idea is very simple. We use Prosper to configure Prosper, like people will use the compiler to compile the compiler. So this is exactly what we do here. The first configuration that we did was manually. We created it manually. So when you enter into a Prosper database, the first users that are created, that are found in the users table, are defined, and I want to allow you to use them to define other users. So the user table, it is a configurator table, but it has, for example, the administrator, the database administrator, the reports administrator, and other users. To prevent you and others from modifying these rows, we reserve every UID that is less than 10,000 as we call it kernel data. So in any table, when you find a row that has a UID less than 10,000, this row is not editable, it's not modifiable. You cannot delete it, you cannot modify it in Prosper, from the Prosper interface. Why we do that? Because we want you to start not from scratch. So we did the first configuration for you, and you take it from there and you configure. Sometimes we go to data tables and we write some stuff in data tables. For example, in the standard item table or in the project table, we define what we call the standard project. The standard project has a UID that is less than 10,000. So we tell you that there is something called the standard project. In the standard item table, there is a UID called 70, I guess, which is the null standard item. So once you have to have a standard item, but you don't want a specific standard item, you just use the null standard item. So it is a row in a data table, but we use it also we provide it for you so to start and to configure Prosper with. So every time you enter in Prosper and you create a row, the UID that is assigned to that row is always above 10,000. Everything that is less than 10,000 is created manually by us, by the kernel team. So we call them kernel data. So when you go to, let's move a little bit to SQL, and let's do some select. Let's do select star from type, from category. Let's do the category table. From category. If we do execute select star from category, you see we have 157 categories. You see the UID 10751, 750, 749. All these are above 10,000. These are data categories created by the user, starting from 10,001. You see, started from 10,001. But there are some rows, as you see below, from the 790, 789, 788, 787. These are categories created by us, by the kernel team, to to be able to configure Prosper. While we're configuring Prosper, we needed these categories, so we created them. For example, the categories to define for the status, the categories for the standard item objects, for the project object, for a lot of stuff. You find them here. The statuses, you see the statuses, all the statuses, they have three different types. And the types of the statuses are, or four different types: new, edit, available, and closed. They have to be defined under types. So these types are 100, 101, 102, 103. You see the UID are less than 10,000. They all belong to the table, to the category that is 12. Let's try to run select star from type where category UID equals to 12. Let me see if these are the types. Yes, these are the types. So the category is 12. So we created that category to be able to define these types. And these types are 100, 101, 102, 103. You need these types to, once you create a status, you're a configurator and you're creating a status. The status in Prosper, you're allowed of only 4 types of statuses: 1 new, 2 edit, 3 available, and 4 closed. So we have to provide you these types so you could create a status. How do we do that? We created these types in advance, and we placed them in this table. If you say select star from type without this, it will show you first all the types 2100 all the types that are user defined types above the 10,000. You see all of them are above the 10,000. Then we see some types. Where are they? They start from here. 690 control, view column type, round date, savings, US dollar, investors, sales, divisions, templates, owners. I don't know what they mean, but table. This is a table type. Alert, report, entities. So all the event types that we have before progress row and after progress row, and before editing and after editing, the types of organizations, every single type that we need that is found here. From from type 1 to type 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, all of these types are kernel types. The ones above, these kernel types, you cannot delete, you cannot modify. Anything when you create, you start creating above the 10,000, and you can do whatever you want to with the data above 10,000. Once you select the row, and when you try to modify it or you try to delete it, it will tell you, hey, this is kernel data, protected kernel data, you cannot modify or you cannot delete, because the kernel needs it to work. So let's go back to where we were. We were talking about the kernel and user rows. We said if you logged into Prosper using a normal user or a normal configurator, any row that you create will have, in any table, will have a 10,000 plus UID, and every row that is less than 10,000 is protected. You cannot modify it because it's needed for the kernel to work. Thank you.